Good day, folks. Welcome to 406 Regen. Today it's wind's blowing really hard out there, otherwise I'd be doing this out by the sheep and the puppies, but like I said, the wind's blowing too hard up on top of the hill to do that, so I'm back in the camper here. Got the heater on. You'll hear that kick on and off a few times, but shouldn't be too terribly loud. Today I was going to go over the reasons why I chose hair sheep for this operation on the homestead here. They're following the guidelines of Greg Judy and all the research I've looked into. They're a lot easier to manage when you don't know nothing about sheep. It's a good starting breed. They're very good on parasite resistance. Your adult ewes, most of the time in a well-managed system, will give you twins. Out here, I was really surprised of how well they gained on the grass I had available to them this summer. It really surprised me. And even this winter, out on the stockpiles and stuff, they're still maintaining, if not gaining, a little bit of weight. But I thought I'd go over why I chose all the katahdins. Got a book here. I'm not very good at talking points like this first time, so like I was saying, you don't have to shear them, you don't have to crutch them. Dr. Tails, out here in a well-managed system, you don't have to mess with their hooves. The occasional ones, they are more parasite resistant. The occasional ones that will need attention, I'll call them out of the flock, I'll give them what they need, keep the animal alive, and sell it. At that point, it's decided it didn't want to be here anymore. So, like I was saying, the goals out here for the place, why I chose the katahdin sheep. Out here, we don't have enough acreage to support a flock. Don't have enough acreage to support a herd of cows over than maybe 120 cow-calf. And that's on extremely well-managed, been in this regenerative game 5-6 years. The ground's doing what it's firing on all pistons. It's going good. Right now, I'm thinking we could run about 80 head. And 80 head, my brother and I, we run the place. 80 head of cow-calf, that ain't gonna pay the bills out here. At the moment, the 73 head of sheep aren't going to pay the bills out here, but I just started the flock. Every time we sit down, we do the math. Every single time we do the math, the sheep seem to come out better than cattle. And even if you plan for the worst, it's the same as cows. Well, if I can run out here 5 head right now is what I'm going off of, 5 head of ewes to 1 cow, I'm still going to come out better on the sheep. The sheep are still going to make more money, more profit at the end of the year, end of the day, however you want to look at it. They're less labor. I'm just going to be doing that on pasture. I'm not jugging them. I got that netting, and that's what they're going to be in until I get my time list put up around the place, and that's something I'm working on. We got 1,000 acres out here that we need to put up electric fence around, and that takes quite a bit of money to do, so it's gonna take me a while to get it built up here and there. We'll be doing a lot of that this spring. Probably only get about 300, maybe 400 acres fenced in this year. But that'll be plenty for the flock for this year, because I'm not planning on selling any ewes, or really not planning on selling much anything. The withers we'll get will just probably end up in the freezer for us. But yeah, so they're less labor on green grass, and they multiply very quickly, kind of like that compounding interest kind of thing. We went with katahdins. They are more parasite resistant than dorpers. I know that the shepherdess on YouTube, she's a big advocate for dorpers, and a lot of places are, the dorpers are really taking off. They are more big-bodied for meat than the katahdins, but then again, they take more messing with. They take more messing with. And yes, everything comes down to management. Right now, I want to manage the katahdins like I am. We go feed them, we take care of them. Ones that need doctoring get sold. After that, at some point you'll get to where you're really not having to mess with them too much beyond that, and that's what we're shooting for out here. So, you know, depending on the size, a sheep will eat 3 to 5 pounds per head per day. Right now my flock's eating about 375 pounds a day. I feed them out of a 1,500 pound round bale, so every 4 days they get a new bale. Price of hay out here last 3 years in this drought skyrocketed to a very good amount. It's getting down lower right now. It's anywhere from 200 to 250 a ton. We put up our own hay for the most part, but you still got to count that cost. It's still costing us, you know, at 200 a ton, it's still costing us $150 per bale. And in Montana here, we figure on 5 months of having to feed at the moment until we get this place going good. The end goal for this place is to regenify it to where, yeah, I'll still always have hay bales on hand. I mean, that's just part of management. You're gonna have to have that. You get some freak snowstorms, some stuff like that, they could wipe out the whole flock. If you, I mean, it'd just be dumb not to have feed on hand besides stockpile. But our goal out here is to really minimize, really minimize the feeding we have to do on round bales. But at the moment, we consider 5 months. 5 months or 150 days to feed hay. So every 4 days, it takes us 38 bales for the flock of sheep. At the moment, at our 75 head, it takes us 38 bales. Or for the year, total cost of $5,625 just for the hay. So the sheep market's kind of been up and down lately, and my math, people are going to say my math's high, but I'm going to try, when I do start selling my ewe lambs and my withers and stuff like that, at $250 per animal unit is where I'd like to hit. So whether I have to take it and have it processed and sell it for twice that, you know, $14 a pound, what lamb burger is out here, whatever I got to do, I'm not going to, $250 is the bare minimum of kind of where I want to end up selling my lambs and sheep for. But at that $250, this is for the sake of argument, so doing the math on the day, we are gonna, it would take us 23 lambs to pay for the winter feed. And like I said, adult ewes gives you, you know, hopefully twins all the time. So it'd take about 12 ewes to pay for winter feed. 12 ewes lambing twins to pay for winter feed. Or freak accident and they all singled out lambs, it'd take about a third. Which is, again, that goes back to which is why we're trying to get the regenerative part going, to minimize that hay cost. Obviously, if we can grow it out here and not have to use the tractor and the diesel and the baler and have all the haying equipment and the time, it's a lot of things ranchers don't think of is their time. It's, you know, ranching is a lifestyle. It's not a business. Well, it's a business. So, in central Montana, where, you know, I'd love to get it down to where 45 days, 30 days of needing feed. That'd be of needing to have to put out hay It'd be really exceptional if I could get less than that. But once I get this ground going like it's supposed to, I'd probably carry about that amount of hay on hand. Hey, bud. So yeah, just thought I'd go over that kind of quick. Cow calf, you know, we done the math. It really doesn't work out here for us. We don't have that much land to run cow calf, and it just wouldn't work out here for us on that. You know, the katahdins, like I said, you can get them up to 200% weaning rate, which is astonishing compared to cows. You know, if you live somewhere warmer, you could actually really change the numbers up. If you live down south somewhere warmer and you push your ewes harder, which I'm not doing, but you could push them harder and you could get, you know, lamb twice a year. Now you're gonna go, you know, you're gonna wear those ewes out a lot faster. You're gonna have to keep bringing in replacement ewes a lot quicker. But then again, you're also, you know, 4 times if they twin each time, which I don't know if they do. I don't know if you push them that hard if they would twin each time. But say you get 3. Well, you know, now you got the numbers really add up to better than cows. So, and I just done a lot of research on the katahdins. Listen to, like I said, Greg Judy, Jim Garish, a lot of guys, a lot of new people on YouTube have popped up that I'm following. I mean, I'm on YouTube. It's what we're trying to do is to help people. It's what I want to do with this channel, is to help people learn the regenerative way, as well as me continue learning it, to build a community to where, you know, if I screw up something, someone might say, hey, if you do it this way, it helps out. And that's awesome. I want to be able to help people out. I want to be able to say, hey, if you put this way, that'll help you out. This is what we do here. And just to extend this regenerative egg movement is what I'm after. I bought this book. It's called A Guide to Katahdin Hair Sheep, a special edition. It's by Katahdin Hair Sheep International. It's a $3 book, and it is just filled with information on the katahdins, whether it be your meats. I mean, it's just filled. Selecting for structural correctness. It's something that I have to keep studying really hard, because in my flock, to me, is very new. I'm not even a year into. I bought my first sheep in May or April of 2022. So we're not even a year into this yet on doing these sheep. So far, I like them. So far, it'll be really awesome to get these built up. It's hard to find the numbers of katahdins in central Montana here, where it's not like a cow-calf where you can just go to a ranch, you can buy, you know, 300 head. You go to sale barn, buy 300 head. Now you got your numbers. I looked around, you know, I bought 10 head here, 20 head here, 30 head here, which kind of stinks, because you know, you get in this regenerative stuff and you want to get fired up and you want to do it now, and it doesn't always work that way. But on the other hand, it's kind of nice that you can go to someone and they got 5 ewes or 15 ewes. You can kind of find somebody that you can fit in your budget, to where if you can't afford 300 head of sheep at a time, you can only afford 5 or 10. Budget it out. You can go find those, you buy them up, and you just kind of build it up. That's kind of what I had to do last year. In this drought we had no hay production out here on the farm. We try to sell our hay when we can. Since I was about 14, we've put up hay out here, which is why our ground is like it is. It's kind of dead, and it needs to be regenerated, and that's what we're going to be doing. I still, unfortunately, am going to have to hay some sections, but I am building towards working all that out. Anyway, sorry, I got off a tangent there. Like I was saying, it's nice to be able to just go buy a few head here and there as your budget allows to build up your flock. That's what we did last summer. Like I said, this is not a year in. We bought 5 head here, 10 head there. Our biggest bunch we got was 35 head, and now a couple of those are pretty runty and not really. I bought them because I wanted hooves on the ground, new and just trying to learn. But they're gonna be the first ones I look at to call for sure. Once we get to that point, I even bought a couple. Even bought a black belly, which is, if you've watched my videos, you've probably seen that out there running around. It's another type of hair sheep, very small bodied. I probably won't get no more of those because she's the ewe is really small compared to the katahdins. I mean, I have lambs that are just as big or bigger than she is, so that's not really going to work for us on a meat market style of what we're going to end up doing. But like I said, it's nice to be able to buy a few head here and there. Otherwise, it'd be nice to just go buy your flock and get it started in it right away. But when you're just learning, in all honesty, it's going to be better just to start off with a few head and build your numbers up. Like, I'm still learning, and I mean, I've got goals that I'm going to try very hard to meet for out here. I'd like to get the flock built up to 600 or 800 ewes, what I think the place can be able to handle under good management, be able to lease some ground, and end up eventually with about 1,200 ewes. It's what I'm shooting for. It's what I want to get built up to be able to make the place a living, be able to maintain this lifestyle that ranchers think is. It's a business. If it doesn't pay, you gotta really look at your numbers very hard. And when I've done the numbers, it seems like to me, the sheep, the ewes, if you lamb the ewes, you buy them, you lamb them out, that they will usually, on paper, doing the numbers, that the first year is usually a wash. Majority of time, especially if you're buying ewe lambs, because they're mostly just going to have singles. So the first year you get them, it's just going to be a kind of a wash on your production, on bringing any money in or not. But then hopefully you got another 9 years of twins that, you know, the sheep kind of pay for themselves in the first year, and then you go on from there. So, but like I said, it's windy out there today. Otherwise I'd had some footage of being up with the puppies and that, but I couldn't hardly stand up, so I knew I wouldn't be able to record. We're getting ready here for another cold snap to hit us in a few days. But you know, we'll pull that shed around, make it dry spot for the sheep, and they'll be good. I've got a couple of runty ones. Those runty ones that I'd be the first ones to call. They have a hard time with cold snaps. They usually end up shaking a little bit more than the other ones. So I always try to feed them more. When it's cold, I feed the sheep more. Just like the other day on my other video, I went out and I rolled hay, rolled 2.5 bales out before I moved the sheep into that pen. And it wasted about 5 days of feed. I say wasted. It's not. I wanted the ground cover, but they trampled in about 5 days of feed and only ate 3. It's still a little early for me to be doing too much of that, in case a couple of big spring storms. You know, got to keep the hay on reserve if we do get hit with some bad storms here again. I'm hoping not, but you know, if we get dumped on, end up with 2 or 3 feet of snow, which is very rare out here in the prairie, but it does happen. And you got to be prepared for that kind of stuff. Out here, with this wind we always have, you know, if we get a foot of snow, couple of days, and the wind will have it usually drifted up into 5-foot drifts, but for the main part of the ground up on the flats, it's pretty bare for the most part. You can get them in, but yeah, spring's on its way. I'm getting very excited about it. Out here, I can already see it's been really nice. There's been a little bit of green kind of showing through. It's just teasing me. I won't expect any green grass until May. That's why we're gonna lay them out at end of May. I might have pushed the rams in a little too late this year. I'd like to be towards kind of the first, but it's the first year, and I don't want to make sure they're on green grass, so it's gonna probably end up being the middle to end of May for lambing. But you know, we'll just keep moving them in that netting. I'm gonna get up some high tensile. Like I said, I got enough fence posts, enough high tensile wire to get about 350 acres. 300 acres, 350 right now at the moment, fenced in. And then I just got to build up the fence as the budget allows from that. Which hopefully, out here in place, last fall it was wetter than it's been the last 3 years. So there's a good shot. There's a good shot. We'll kind of hopefully break this drought we've been in the last 3 years, and there'll be some grain hauling. Farmers will need some help. Yeah, and the hay production will be better out and around on the places I want to cut to help bring in some more money. But for sure, kind of really community thing, hoping on good bumper crop for the farmers. Ones in my area have kind of built up. There's all the small ones are kind of gone, and end up with about 5 people that are farming around my area locally, which is, you know, most of them have their own semis, bought more of their own trucks, or they put more bins in, and they haven't been able to get nothing the last 3 years because of the drought. So I'm hoping for a bumper crop. That's when they'll call, is when they need you tomorrow. I've got one farmer that's calling and reserving a truck, which is it's nice. It's nice to be able to schedule stuff out like that. But for the most part, it seems like no one else calls unless they need you that day or the next day. And when you're trying to run a trucking business, as my brother and I have been doing the last, well, since 10 years, I guess. So, out here to help bring in money for the farm. At the place, put in CRP a long time ago, and it's kind of where it's at. But tell you what, I'll make a video on the starting of the place, where it's at the moment. Obviously, you guys know where I want to go with it. I want to regenify it. I'm gonna be, spring. Hopefully, I get some money in so I can budget in some annual rye and some annual crops to get the ground going. Grass. We got some fields out back. Before I knew about regenerative ag, the old adage was, your alfalfa's, you got no production because it's old, so you got to rip it out and plant new. Unfortunately, we did that on a couple of fields for that purpose, to replant and get rid of a weed that was kind of had out back, that we didn't want and put in hay and nobody's hay. And back then, that was our options. This place, we didn't want no chemicals, for sure. We didn't want no chemicals, and it was kind of a toss-up between, well, if we're going to work it, just go work it out. Most people around you, you got to round up it, you got to spray it all out, and then work it. And we didn't want to do that to the ground. I mean, we killed the ground no matter what, but unfortunately, with the CRP, there wasn't much there to kill. But I'll get in that in another video. So thanks for watching 406 Regen. Hope your winter's going good. Have a good one.